For more information on today's program, contact Erica Taylor Montgomery at threegirlsmedia.com. Now, back to Punch, Media and Marketing Made Easy, on the Bay Area's business leader, AM 1220 KDOW.
Good morning and welcome back to Punch, Media and Marketing Made Easy. I'm your host, Erica Taylor Montgomery, and you're listening to 1220 AM KDOW, the Wall Street Business Network. We are talking Twitter, to tweet or not to tweet, how to use Twitter for your business. And our guest is Lee Lonitz, who's the founder of Design for Sight. And Lee, let's talk a little bit about hashtags. You know, hashtags are something that are so unique to the Twitter platform. And I think a lot of people don't understand what they are and how to use them properly.
Okay, so a hashtag is also called a pound sign, and if you've read tweets, you might notice that some of the tweets actually have those little hashtags at the end of the tweet. You know, for example, welcome to Punch Media Marketing, and then hashtag social media. So hashtags allow users to find information more rapidly on Twitter. So somebody who's searching for a particular topic can go into the search field on Twitter and enter it in, and then the hashtags allow Twitter to fetter that information, the results, to the user faster. You know, there's such a huge fire hose of information on Twitter, you know, and so hashtags actually help people find your information more easily and more quickly.
You know, one of the ways that I like to explain hashtags is that they're really a keyword. And it's simple, I think, for people to understand, is that it's a keyword or term that you can use, and you simply put the little pound sign in front of that keyword. And like you said, exactly, it helps Twitter find those posts when somebody searches for that particular keyword or hashtag, as it's called.
Exactly. For example, common hashtag that's done every Friday is what's called Follow Friday. And so Follow Friday is where you can recommend somebody to follow on Twitter. You type in your tweet, you put in their Twitter name, and then you put a hashtag, Follow Friday, all one word. And so people who are searching Twitter for, you know, who's to follow, can more rapidly locate those people, you know, when you put the hashtag, you know, pound follow Friday. It's important to realize also that, you know, sometimes hashtags can also be abused, you know, so if you definitely don't want to post out a tweet where every other word has a hashtag in front of it.
Right.
Like, hi, hashtag, how are, hashtag, you, hashtag.
Yeah, I totally think that they can be overdone. Now, generally, my recommendation is never to use more than 3 hashtags in one particular post. I think if you use more than 3, it gets very cluttered. It gets very difficult to read. What's your feeling about that?
No, I would absolutely agree. I mean, it's kind of like it obscures your message. You know, it makes it hard to read, and you're taking up valuable character space that could be used for your message. Remember, you've only got 140 characters to get this message. You got to be brief and, you know, to the point.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I don't think a lot of people realize is that if you put in a URL into your Twitter message, that every single character in that URL counts to the 140 character count. So it's great to use a service like Bitly, for example, bit.ly, where you can shorten your URLs into a much briefer, shorter space and have less characters for them.
Yes, I would say that, you know, if you can use a URL shortener, you know, that's extra characters it can free up. And also what I tell people is you want to try and keep your tweets down to as few as 80 characters, you know, and that sounds like a huge undertaking, you know, where people roll their eyes and stuff. But the reality is that information goes fast and quick, and people are very busy. And so when they're on Twitter, the way to get people to read your message is to keep your tweets short and sweet. And that pun was not intended. And, you know, try to keep it as close to 80 characters as possible, and then, you know, add your hashtag.
So one of the things that I find fascinating is that the lifespan of a tweet on Twitter is only about 60 minutes. And that's how long it will stay visible in somebody's feed on Twitter before it's so far down that you're not going to see it anymore. So that brings us to the question of frequency of posting on Twitter. Because a lifespan of a tweet tweet is only about an hour. How frequently do you recommend posting on Twitter each day?
If you are using Twitter for business or for your organization, like you were mentioning, the average lifetime is about 60 minutes. There are so many people on Twitter. I recommend actually posting as many as 10 times per day. We have to remember that not everybody logs into social media networks at the same time each day, and everybody's got their favorite tool or multiple, number of social media tools like Facebook, or Pinterest or etc. So 10 times a day roughly will get you in front of your audience at different times so that you can get your message out.
I think that's really important to mention is that people log on at all different times of the day and night. So if you're posting as frequently as 10 times a day, that means that no matter when somebody logs onto their Twitter account, there's a high likelihood of them seeing one of your tweets.
Exactly. I meant, for example, a famous person I follow on Twitter is Guy Kawasaki. And you'll notice that Guy actually posts more than 10 times per day. But the reality is that he's got, a huge number of followers on Twitter, which is the equivalent of friends on Facebook, and he's not going to reach the same people at all times of the day or even within the same hour. And so getting that message out, broadcasting it as frequently as possible without spamming his, followers is key.
Absolutely. If you have questions about Twitter, you can reach us live this morning. The phone number is toll-free, 800-516-1220. That's 800-516-1220 to get your questions answered this morning live with Lee Lonitz of Design for Sight. So, Lee, let's talk about retweeting and what that is and how companies can use that effectively.
So retweet in a nutshell is just simply reposting someone's tweet. People retweet tweets because they find that particular tweet valuable to them. Perhaps, for example, a lot of tweets that are retweeted are inspirational quotes. Everybody wants to feel good. Everybody is working hard these days. And so any little nugget of inspiration helps. And so what I like to do is actually retweet quotes, inspirational quotes, and get that out to all of my followers as well. So basically when a tweet is retweeted, that says that you are endorsing the message. This is something that you think is valuable for your followers to read. And it also makes you a resource to your followers. Maybe you don't have an inordinate amount of content at the moment, but you can always be a resource by retweeting other people's information and, getting that out to your followers.
And, that would count for one of those posts each day. So if you're concerned that you don't have enough content to come up with 10 tweets on a daily basis, if you look at 5 or even 7 of those as potential retweets of other people's content that can be valuable to your followers, that takes a lot of the onus off of you to create original content.
Yes, exactly. Another thing I wanted to mention is that, on Twitter, you have, your followers, and that's your sphere of influence. And when you retweet material or you have your material retweeted, that material gets in front of additional spheres or circles of influence, and that's what allows your message to broadcast out widely. That's why when important information goes down in the world, from natural disasters, to political shakeups, to even, unfortunately, scandals, and you'll see people on Twitter retweeting information like lightning. And that's, that gets it out very fast. Information travels so fast on Twitter that sometimes it even often surpasses the major media outlets.
Absolutely. And one of the examples of that recently actually was the London Olympic Games. And the use of Twitter in this Olympic Games was absolutely unprecedented, like no Olympics in the past.
Absolutely.
All of the athletes were on it. The information that was going around on Twitter was lightning fast, and often you would get results faster via Twitter than you would through NBC. And we even saw examples of athletes getting in trouble for using Twitter inappropriately.
Yes. There was a story that I read about, it was one of the female athletes, I think it was on the the gymnastics team, I believe, if I'm correct, from Greece, and she had tweeted out something that was defamatory, and she wound up getting, kicked off of the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why you've got to be really careful about, sometimes what you post on Twitter.
Absolutely. Lee, we only have a couple minutes left, but I do want to make sure that people know how to reach you if they have questions about social media strategy for any social networking platform, or specifically about Twitter. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Okay, well, everybody can reach me in a number of ways. One is you can email me directly to lee@designforesight. So that's LEE at design, FORSITE.com. You can go onto Twitter and search for Design Foresight, which is 2 words. We're also on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Design Foresight.
Fabulous. So a few different ways to reach you. The website address again is www.designforsight, and it's SITE site, like a website. So designforsight.com in order to reach Lee Lonitz. And when we come back from the break, I'm going to be talking about a couple of upcoming events where you can get some terrific information about public relations and also about WordPress. So that's coming up on 1220 AM KDOW, the Wall Street Business Network. I'm your host, Erica Taylor Montgomery, and we'll be right back.